Hey.
Okay, so welcome to Perspectives in Primary Care. We are going to be discussing the new normal with COVID 19 now that the social distancing guidelines have been extended at least to April 30th. I'm Dr. Khadisha, your board certified emergency medicine physician.
I'm Dr. Carol Penn, your board certified family medicine doc and obesity medicine specialist.
And I am Dr. Dietrich Gorman, your board certified family practice physician. And nice to see y'all once again in another episode. It's very nice to see y'all. And I'd like to just thank all of y'all who are out there who's taking the time out of your evening to come and join us on another episode of Perspectives in Primary Care. Okay. How's it
Yes.
going for y'all today?
Well, it's been busy. I feel like I'm in recovery today. There was a lot of changes that occurred in my office yesterday. It
Mm-hmm.
was kind of heavy. We had to lay off several staff, and that just, it just was heavy on my heart. That we're feeling the economic. Not only are we on the front lines, but we're also feeling the economic impact of this, just as everybody else in our nation is feeling this.
For sure, for sure.
And I'm actually recovering from a 24-hour shift in the ER. I saw people who were anxious about the coronavirus situation. I saw people who were afraid to go to conventional hospital ERs because of the coronavirus situation.
Mhm.
But mostly, I think a lot of people were staying home because of the guidelines. I think folks are following the guidelines because usually at this time of year we see tons of flu-like symptoms, and I'm not seeing it so much right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I totally agree with you as well. Just everything's kind of just changed, and actually, as all of you know, that this country, actually the whole world, nothing is really the same. Okay, it changes from week to week, or actually even day to day. Right? It seems like we're just taking one moment at a time. Right? I mean, just everywhere, and I would say just literally about everything is geared around the coronavirus. Okay, it's kind of taking over everything, and it's really affecting us in most every aspects of our life, right?
Yeah.
And needless to say, a lot of us are examining our current lives and the lives of our families and friends and even coworkers and neighbors and all that stuff. We're just trying to kind of understand what's going on. But thank you. Tonight we're going to share with you suggestions for
Mhm.
creating and understanding a new normalcy, air quote, in this day of COVID-19. Okay. Some of us are actually at home under self or forced quarantine, or we're working from home. Some of us, like the three of us, we're physicians, right? Others who are in healthcare are nurses, dentists, pharmacists, podiatrists, radiology techs, lab techs, people who aren't in healthcare but still have to go to work, like the postal service, the military, police, grocers, travel agents, gas station attendants. Just so many people who are still out there who still have to go to work, and we're all in service of others. And by the way, thank y'all very much for going to work and still trying to get things together for us, and we're still trying to live our lives. But then also, some of us still may need to go out and about, right? We might need to go out and about just to get some simple things that we need to sustain our lives. Even going to the doctor's office, or like Dr. Khadijah, we might even need to go to the emergency room for whatever. You still need to go out and about, just even for a short period of time. And so, in all of these situations, the virus is going to play a role and actually kind of dictate what we're doing and how we're moving around. So I see a couple of people are, in the chat. So I just want y'all to put in what is your current situation? Are you one of the ones who have to go to work, or are you at home? Are you under quarantine, or what's going on with you? Are you there? I see Katrina Arona there. Hi. I see Katrina, my sister there, Emmanuel Casali. I see DM is there. So thank y'all for joining us, and just let us know what your current situation is right now. So tonight we're actually gonna share some suggestions for y'all in creating a new normal in this day of COVID. Dr. Dietrich, I'm going to be talking about creating this normalcy in the work setting. Dr. Carol is going to transition us into creating normalcy in the home setting. And then Dr. Kadisha, she's going to be talking about when we have to go out and about. Okay, so we see who's joining us. I really appreciate it. And please, by the way, if you can, go ahead and share this live stream right now. Host a watch party. Tag people. If you're watching the replay, please put replay in the comments so we can see who is here, and just whoever you feel can benefit from this. And thank you very much. All right. So we see somebody who she has to be at work right now. She's actually at work right now watching this live stream. So thank you very much. I see Victoria's joining us as well, working as well. Okay. So I'll start off. So we have to go to work, right? You're in a profession that you have to go to work. And this job is likely changing every day. Something new is being added. Something might be taken away. There might be a new policy. There might be a certain place you can go or not go. Okay. And I wanted to personally share some suggestions on how you may need to alter what you're doing in the work setting to keep you, as well as your coworkers safer. All right. And let's face it, those of us who are going to work, we seem to be a little bit more vigilant. We're paying more vigilant. We're paying more attention to people, like if they, even have a sneeze or a cough, we're looking at it like, I'm like, can I just have allergies? But no, not in this day and age. You know what I mean? So everybody's kind of a little bit more hyper vigilant. You might be getting those looks. But one of the ways that we're creating more of a normalcy in this day of COVID is that we're washing our hands a lot more, right? You're hearing on TV and social media and the CDC that one of the top things that you can do to help decrease the spread is washing your hands, okay? And I'm not talking about now just going to the restroom and washing your hands, which of course you need to do for sure, but just other points of your day. You may have find that you've had to use your hands a little bit more often, or you touch something that you're not quite sure of. You're just a little bit more vigilant, and so you may be washing your hands a little bit more often, and this may have become your new normal. On that same note, you may be a little bit more aware of where you're putting your hands and what you're touching. All right. We know that this corona can live on surfaces for a certain number of hours. You need to be more aware of doorknobs, handles, kind of pretty much everything that you're going to use your hands for. And just kind of a note, be more aware of where you're putting your hands, okay? Especially touching yourself, your mucous membranes, your eyes, your nasal passages, your throat. And these are just entry points for the virus, not only corona, but other, sources of infection. And just the thing is, it could be just a part of your normal mannerisms where you may, touch your face and you're not even really thinking about it. Case in point, I have a small confession to make. Today, actually, I was actually at work and I had to do the screenings, so it was my first time doing this in the setting because we all kind of take shifts. And I was in the room. I put on my equipment. I had my outfit on, my jumpsuit with the head mask and the N95, and then the face shield and my gloves. And I couldn't breathe. I'm not gonna lie, I just couldn't breathe. It was tight. I couldn't breathe, and I wasn't even thinking. I was thinking of breathing, and so I actually put my finger up under the mask and opened it up for some air, and it's just like. But I wanted to breathe, you know what I mean? And so it's just things like that. I should have just went ahead and excused myself and left, but hopefully things will be all right. But it's just those kind of things you're not thinking of that, you're not touching. All right. Just be more mindful where you're putting your hands. This needs to definitely be your new normal. Then in the work setting, there's this new professional etiquette. No longer can you go up and say, "Hey, I'm Dr. Dietrich. Let me shake your hand. How's it going? What you up to?" You can't do that no more. Some people are doing the elbow, but that's kind of violating that social distancing, getting away. So we might be doing a high five or just a head nod or just, how are you today? Just speaking to each other. So the day and age of shaking your hand and being close to someone and giving that up close eye contact, we're gonna have to rethink that, y'all. Okay. The next thing is your actual workspace, your work environment, where you actually are doing your work. Some people are in the office. Some people have desks like me. Some people have lockers. Just kind of different things. But you're gonna need to be more tidy. You're gonna have to create that normalcy of being more tidy, having things more organized. And the reason is because when you need to wipe down your space, which you need to do a couple, 3 times a day, you don't want to have to be shuffling things around everywhere. You want to have everything in their right place, wiping things off so you can keep it moving and keep going. So being more organized and less decluttered in your workspace is of paramount importance. All right. Another big thing in the work setting is your meal time may actually change. All right. A lot of us, this may be really potential, a potential big one. Some workplaces have cafeterias. Depending on where you work, the cafeteria may be altogether shut down. Okay. Some may be open, but the workers may be serving you your food because they want to minimize people touching the handles. And some may even just give you a prepackaged lunch and just be like, here you go, keep it moving. So this is definitely a big one because you got to eat. But one suggestion I can give y'all is to actually bring your lunch, prepare your meal at home, and maybe bring it in and keep it in your own personal space, because that way you control the way you're eating, who's preparing it, so that's another big one that you just have to consider, creating it to be your new normal, packing your own lunch, or just being aware there's probably going to be some major changes, already probably major changes in your work setting, dealing with how you eat your food and your snacks. Bring your snacks too, okay? Just a couple of other points. The end of live meetings, okay, or at least they're very drastically reduced, or just key people are meeting in a room where they're spaced apart. But a lot of places are going to these online meetings, okay, where even if you're in the same facility, okay, your office may be next to somebody, but you're on these live meetings because you just want to decrease the spread, okay. And some places, like, they may have like only a certain number of people can be in this area. And so if that's your case, make sure that you're in the recommended distance. Make sure you're not just congregating and being together. And then finally, like Dr. Carol was saying in the beginning at her job, less staffing. I mean, that can definitely be your new reality at work. It may be because some of your coworkers are sick and they're quarantined, but a lot of people, you see in the news today, a lot of people are getting laid off. And not only because, of safety, but also because the money is not coming in. And if the money is not coming in, they're laying off the workers. And so, the COVID isn't just, health, it's financial, it's mental, it's kind of permeating every aspect of our lives. So you may find yourself that you might not be in the same, have the same coworkers around you. All right. And you may actually be called to do more. All right. So you may have to take over. So just keep that in mind, that these may become your new normals. And I'm towards the end of my little talk, but I just wanted to give like a little bit of a side note. And I just wanted to say, like, I totally understand that in a lot of these work situations, and I'm just putting it out there, especially in healthcare, because we're definitely at high risk. We're definitely like right in the middle of it, on the front lines. Tensions are high. When tensions are high, people can get upset, people get snappy, they get attitude because they're speaking out of frustration, out of fear. They don't know what's going on. But I just wanted to say, like, if at all possible, in these times of high stress, just try not to turn on each other. All right. Let's try and watch out for each other and, keep each other safe. And if at all possible, especially in the work setting, if there's like some beef or something going on with the coworker or boss or disagreement or whatnot, try and squash it, because a lot of people who aren't here today, you don't know that, today could be your last day. You just don't know.
Right.
It could be the last day of your coworkers. So I just wanted to put out there, try not to sweat some of the small things. Is it really worth having a beef with somebody about, especially now, because tomorrow really isn't given for any of us. All right. So having said all that, after a long day of work, what you got to do? You got to go home. Eventually you're going to go home, right? And so whenever time that is, and so I'm going to have Dr. Carol take over and transition. So when you go home, what we going to do?
All right. Well, Dr. Dietrich, thank you so much for your remarks about creating the new normal in the
Certainly.
workplace. And certainly, we are seeing so much about needing to create the new normal in the home environment. Some of
Yes.
us are already at home, working from home. Some of us are homeschooling from home. And
Yes.
Lord, our parents appreciating teachers. They're like, my word, I had no idea. Or they're saying, I can't do this. This is too much. And we're seeing homes that it was fine to have one computer before, but now with mom and dad home, maybe an older generation is there living in under the same roof, and you got the kids in the house, and everybody needs to be online for something, for school, for job. It is really putting stressors in the home environment. There are couples and families that are spending more time together than they've ever spent before. So
Yeah.
couples are arguing, kids are arguing. Lord have mercy, even the pets are showing stress that they're
Oh
not
my
used to the
God.
families being in the home. So there was this one cat who was freaking out because the cat was like, y'all are gone during the day. During the day, this is my territory. The cat's
Right.
ears were laid back against her head. It was hysterical because she was like, I don't know why y'all are here when you are not supposed to be here. And
Right.
you've heard of the expression, the dog ate my homework. The little boy held up pictures where the cat had chewed off the edges of his homework and scratched all on it because she was mad because he was home. He wasn't supposed to be home. So, anyway, we are seeing that, and we can laugh at some of these things, but they're having a serious impact.
Exactly.
Not to mention the stress of having loved ones that might be in long term care facilities or hospitals, and you can't go visit them.
No.
So
Mm-mm.
let's look at a couple of pointers for creating a new norm in the home environment. So, number one, stick to a routine. It is so important to establish a routine. Humans like routine, we like structure. We rebel against it, but we really do like it. We need it. So, you need a regular bedtime, you need a regular wake up time, and you want to be consistent with that. You want to get that established. You also need to establish a routine schedule. So if you have to share computer time, who's on the computer for when and how long, so
Mm.
that you as you move for your day, you've got things, targets that you're aiming for and that you're making, so that everybody can get what they have to get done during the time they're supposed to get it done. So for kids in school, if you know the kids have to be online, let's say from 9 to noon, and with your job, you could be a little bit more flexible in terms of when you complete your work assignments and tasks. Well, you schedule the children to be on from 9 to noon, then everybody has lunch, and then you schedule maybe from 1 to 4 as an example. So you want to create these schedules, work on your schedule. That's the first thing, because the schedule becomes the framework for the new norm in your household.
Mm-hmm. That makes
Two,
sense.
you want to dress for the social life you want, not the social life you have. So get up out of your pajamas. Don't be going to, you wouldn't spend any other day walking around in your pajamas and the nastiest old raggediest sweatshirt t-shirt that you have. If you were going to work every day, you would get up and you would get dressed for what's appropriate in your workplace, right? Now you might do some modifications, but I still want you to get dressed for what's appropriate for your work life during your work time. Kids, you don't go to school in your pajamas normally, so put on what you normally would put on for school. If it's a school uniform, well, sure, you can relax the rules a bit and have some modifications. But, adults have your work wardrobe, kids have your school wardrobes. It can be a little bit more casual, but get up, get out of your sleep clothes, your pajamas, put on your clothes that you're going to be in for the day. And kids, just like when you were going to school and when you came home, a lot of times you had to change your clothes, put your play clothes on to go outside. I want you to do the same thing now, because I do want you to go outside. I do want you to get moving and stay moving. Same thing with the adults in the household. Come home and maybe put on a jogging suit or a warm up suit or some yoga clothes, because that's my third point. I want you to make sure that you get outside every day. That's very, very important. And number four, I want you to do some intentional movement every day. That's a great stress reducer and an immune system booster, to get in some light aerobic exercise activity. All right. So you want to have a schedule, stick to a routine. You want to dress for the social life you want, not the one you have. So you're going to get up and get out of those pajamas and those raggedy t shirts, and dress like you care for each other. On Sunday afternoons you can't go out to dinner, but do dress up for dinner. So you change it up and you make it special right there in your home while you are sheltering in place. Create a movie night on Saturday nights and dress for the movies and make some popcorn at home. All of these things to make some fun, make some change of scene, and keep your mind right in the process. All right. So, a couple of things that I want to talk to with the adults in the house who've got little ones. I want you to spend some extra time with your children. I want you to play with your children. I want you to talk to your children. Just don't get into the silos and, send the kids off to be on their iPad for 12 hours. No, you're going to have some family interaction time. That's very important. Play with your children, interact with them, maybe more so than you've ever had an opportunity to do before. So here's a little nugget in the crisis, a golden nugget that you really can spend some quality family time together like never before. The other thing is, for the parents who've got little ones, teens, any children under your roof, I want you to expect behavioral issues in your children. And then I want you to respond gently. This is extraordinarily stressful for children. Their worlds have been torn upside down, inside out. They can't see their friends. They can't move in the world as they normally move in the world. You're seeing videos of when, particularly those of us on the front lines, when we come into our homes and we're telling our kids to stay back, and you can see they want to rush, they want to hug you. But some parents are saying, well, we can't touch like that. We can't hug until mommy or daddy has completely changed my clothes and showered. So that normal greeting that kids so look forward to, that hug, that embrace, they can't have that. So you might also see some acting out behaviors. Sometimes kids, when they're stressed, they'll actually regress, become, at whatever age they are, they'll revert back 2 or 3 years prior to that. Some acting out. Do your best to maintain your patience and be gentle. Be gentle with them. Everyone's going to remember this time for the
Oh
rest
yeah.
of our lives.
Oh yeah.
And ask yourself, when my kids look back on this time in our lives, what do I want them to remember about my behavior, about who I am, about who I was
In
behaving,
these
how I
stressful
behaved
times. Yep.
during this time? So that is something very important. And also, in creating the new norm in your household, I want you to focus on safety and attachment, so that they feel attached and secure to you, and that you remind them about the importance of washing hands, about being safe, about cleaning and disinfecting surfaces that are frequently touched or the high touch areas. And this is something even the little itty bitties can get involved with this. Everybody
Absolutely.
can learn how to take and wipe a doorknob and wipe a
Absolutely.
tabletop. And, again, doing this as a family, because this is part of the new norm for safety. It's not just
Absolutely.
a nice thing to do, or like, I'm teaching my kid how to clean up after themselves. No, you're teaching your child how to save their life and the life of their family members. So this is very, very important. So these are just some of the things that I wanted to drive home to everybody in creating that new norm. And particularly, again, that last point about safety and attachment with the adults in the household. This is your opportunity to not only create a greater sense of attachment and connection to your children, but also to each other. Your kids are going to look to you for how your relationship is unfolding during this time. They're going to be listening and watching to every word you say, the tone in which you say it, and the body language that you are projecting. So, not only do you want to be a little bit more gentle and more patient in your responses to them, but you also want to demonstrate that with each other as the adults and as the adult leaders in the house.
Absolutely. I really, really love your points too, especially about like creating a family night, maybe popcorn. Also, another great thought is like preparing a family meal. You're preparing a healthy meal as a family, nourishing your body, getting yourself stronger. And one other thing I wanted to mention too, like for those, like you were saying, for those adults who are coming home, you know, take the time to change, wash your hands before you show love and whatnot, because you bringing things from out in the street, so you want to make sure that you're protecting your family when you go into your home, because it's your safe haven and your safe space. So
Yes.
that was excellent, Dr. Carol. It was just really well said.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Dr. Khadijah, are you ready to tell us how to, when we have to be out in the
We're gonna have to be
environment,
out and about.
what's our new norm, and what can we do to be safe?
Okay, so thanks, Dr. Carol. Thanks, Dr. Dietrich. I definitely enjoyed your sections of this discussion, because now we have to talk about leaving the house. And first, I want to say with Dr. Carol, yes, folks are doing Netflix parties at home. That's another way to connect with your friends who are in other states. I watched Uncorked 2 days ago with people in DC and Maryland and
Oh,
in Texas. So that's like another wonderful way to connect at home. But when you leave the house, what should you take with you? First of all, what should you take with you? So have your sanitizer with you, have your own pens. I'm noticing that you have to sign receipts and things like that. You really want to have your own pen, your own sanitizer. And now there's more talk about wearing masks even when you have no symptoms. So you're heading out. Say you're going to the bank. For instance, Capital One is giving out hand sanitizers. The tellers are giving out hand sanitizers while you're doing transactions. So that's one thing. Say you're going to the park, and I'm seeing a lot of people out at the park. You might expect to see more portable hand washing stations outside of those porta potties, which all my life I've always wondered, why do they have these portable toilets and there's no way to wash your hands? Finally, the portable hand washing stations are there. For example, Asheville, North Carolina is working with county health officials to provide these hand washing stations outside of homeless shelters, outside of pharmacies, in addition to parks. So you may see more opportunities to wash your hands while you're out and about, and more mask use. Now, our Surgeon General has said in weeks past, it's senseless to wear a mask, but as more knowledge is becoming known of people transmitting the coronavirus infection while having no symptoms, the discussion about wearing masks in general for the general public is being discussed. For instance, the Hunan Provincial Center for Disease Control and Prevention, it's almost like the CDC in China, referred to a study done by some Chinese epidemiologists. And it was a study of a bus ride. It was a 4-hour bus ride, and they found that one infected person was able to transmit the infection to 7 other people during that bus ride. And while our general guidelines are to be about 3 to 6 feet away, the furthest person on that bus that was infected was 4.5 meters away. So that
Wow.
exceeds, yeah, that exceeds that safe distance that we've been told of. So the one of the conclusions was that in an area that has no windows or closed windows, and the AC is running, and that's a lot of places, including Houston, but we're talking about public transportation when you leave the house. They said that it was confirmed that in that closed environment, the transition distance of the new coronavirus could exceed the commonly recognized safe distance. And this was in the Practical Preventive Medicine Journal. So
Okay.
expect to see more mask use, and they are recommending that people riding the bus wear a mask. Okay, so so another category, grocery store. So say you're catching the bus to the grocery store, expect to wait in line, expect to have to stand in a square to make sure that each of us is or
Right.
like outside of the 3 to 6 feet
Oh,
distance. But so now we have to consider, maybe the distance might be increased. The grocery stores are limiting the number of people who can be in there at a time to allow this social distancing while you're shopping. And again, have your sanitizer with you. You might want to consider, applying it periodically while you're
Mm-hmm.
shopping to keep yourself safe. And again, that pen, have your own pen, uh,
mm-hmm.
so that you can sign receipts or have your sanitizer, because that little wand that you have to use at the cash register, um,
Oh,
you
yeah.
you wanna have your sanitizer for that. So that's your grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so expect to wait, have your sanitizer, have your pen. Uh, Also, another thing, so say movies. So say you're catching the bus to the movies, or you're catching an Uber or something like that. If you're using Uber or Lyft or those shared ride services, definitely
Mm-mm.
consider wearing a mask, because you are in a closed space
I
with
know.
those people. And um, people don't want to stop working. So, even though we're encouraged to stay home more and more, people have to pay bills. So you might end up, there's still going to be plenty of people who are driving Uber and Lyft and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
say you go to the movie, or can you go to the movies?
Right. You might not.
You
Yeah.
you might not. So social distancing, I'm not seeing, and someone can put in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've not seen that and I'm expecting that movie theaters are closed, limiting hours, things like that. Universal Pictures has announced that their cinematic releases will be available via streaming at the same time as their theatrical premieres, and they're going to start the
Oh,
April 10th with the Trolls World Tour movie. So, and you'll be able to stream those releases for about, so, and there was a question, would people pay $20 to see one movie at home? But the thought is, if you went to a movie theater, you're going to have to pay, at least $10 to $15 per person anyway. You're going to end up spending at least, you might spend at the least $5 on a snack or something anyway. So they're figuring that you're saving money staying home and watching that movie. Now you can see movies that are newly released more frequently at home. Now, on the other hand, there are some movies that just cannot be watched at home. For instance, The Fast and the Furious. The Fast and the Furious next installation is going to be, it's postponed until next year. They're praying that we'll be able to return to the movie theaters next year and see The Fast and Furious on stream. Okay, so, and the thought, and there was concern about that. Will we be so used to staying at home and paying less for a whole family to see a movie at home?
Right.
But the way people are having cookouts and birthday parties and stuff now, even in defiance of the federal social distancing guidelines, I don't think that's going to be a problem. We love our freedom, and it's expected that we will venture back out to the theater. So, while we are, expecting to stay home, we can expect to see new cinematic releases at home, until this is over. So, how about church?
Right. Okay. Yes. We saw in the news about the church. Yes.
Right. So there's there's reactions going across the board. So yeah, there's the Pentecostal church in Louisiana that is defying the guidelines, and they're still having people come in for service, and the pastor is hugging people, touching foreheads, things like that. And as the last I read, they had not had any positive COVID-19 cases. However, testing is limited right now. The testing in Louisiana is not it's not fully ramped up yet. Meanwhile, churches across the country are streaming their services. My church is streaming services, and the upside of that is that you can check out more churches from the comfort of your own home by way of the streaming services. So that's one upside of this. And but there is that sprinkling of churches that are still holding these services, and but some are trying to compromise. And
All right, I'm not sure if I'm connected or not,
yeah, we
but
see you, Dr.
I'll just be
Carl.
quiet.
Yeah,
Okay,
we see you.
we see you. So some churches are scanning people, checking for fever on their way into church. So you might expect to be scanned for your body temperature if you do venture out to go to a church service. Now, then on the down end is that while some of these churches are having services and all, they're relying on their faith to keep them safe during this pandemic. Nearly 3 dozen people
Okay,
who attended a church event
I
earlier.
can't see or hear you.
Okay, yeah, we can see you, Dr. Carol. So nearly 3 dozen people who attended a church service in rural Arkansas tested positive for COVID-19. And at a church in a suburb of Chicago, 43 people showed symptoms of the virus following a service this month, and 10 had tested positive as of Friday. And I do believe there was another church for which some choir members actually passed away. And the last example I have for this is in Tennessee, there was a pastor who died of complications of COVID-19. It was Pastor Tim Russell, the beloved pastor at Second Presbyterian Church in Memphis. He passed away on Monday
Oh,
from those complications. Okay, so on to another aspect of being out and about, dating. So, Tinder, one of the most commonly used online dating apps, reports that their use is increased. So, in the setting of that, they are reiterating the World Health Organization guidelines, stating as follows: so social distancing doesn't have to mean disconnecting. We hope to be a place for connection during this challenging time, but it's important to stress that now is not the time to meet in real life with your match.
right.
Things please keep things here on Tinder online for now. And with pubs, bars, and many restaurants closed, the number of possible locations to meet have dwindled significantly anyway, and online communication in the dating arena is increased. Now, if you have to meet that person face to face, you can still meet um, using social distancing guidelines at the park, at the grocery store, again from a distance. And you may want to consider wearing masks to cover your mouth and nose to protect yourself from when you touch your face. And again, like we were saying before, the touching elbows is violating the social distance guidelines. So you might just have to wave, or in some
Right.
countries, they bow, and and you focus on talking. And I think that's probably a great thing for dating, to where you're forced to actually talk and get to know the person longer before contacting or touching them anyway. It's probably better in the long run anyway that you have to talk more.
Right.
So, and there are some beautiful masks that are coming down the pipeline. I've seen bedazzled masks. I've even seen Gucci and Louis Vuitton face masks already. And a colleague of mine made a mask for a group of us emergency medicine physicians that we put on top of our surgical masks or our N95 masks. So you may expect to see more masks in the future. And again, why am I saying that more mask use is um, expected? Okay, so yesterday, the CDC director, Robert Redfield, was interviewed on National Public Radio, and he said, and I quote, "I can tell you that the data and this issue of whether it's going to contribute to prevention, meaning wearing masks, is being," he says, "it's being aggressively reviewed as we speak." And the former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb pointed to South Korea and Hong Kong, who have both had success at turning the tide of their outbreaks. And in those areas, there is widespread use of masks. So there's what tons of people, many of the people are wearing face masks. And lastly, George Gao, the Director General of the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention, told Science Magazine that the United States and Europe are, and I quote, making a big mistake with people not wearing masks during this pandemic. He specifically said that mask use helps tamp down the risk presented by people who may be infected but aren't yet showing symptoms. So, those are some things that you may expect to see as part of the new normal as the social distancing guidelines are extended, to April 30th. There's a chance that a good chance that they may pass April 30th, and we may have to follow suit as some of these other nations have done that are actually getting on top of their cases by wearing more masks, in addition to having our sanitizer with us. And and also we should hopefully expect to see on a wider scale more portable hand washing stations, as in the case of Asheville, North Carolina, in front of pharmacies where there's going to be more sick people going, homeless shelters, and in front of portable toilets. So,
Dr. Kadisha, let me ask you, one of the viewers, she was asking, Ebony, are the homemade fabric masks sufficient?
we are, I would say personally, I'm wearing them on top of surgical masks and the N95 masks. The reports on them are various. So so if you have no symptoms, it's better than nothing. Okay,
Right.
I can't speak for all the fabric masks because they're all made in different ways, so it's hard to say. But again, they're better than nothing. At the very least, for protecting your mouth and nose, should you touch
Exactly.
an infected surface.
Right. Well said, well said. So I know Dr. Carroll's having a little bit time hearing us, so I'll chime her in when she can tell her closing remarks. But I just want to thank everybody for coming in, and thank you for the wonderful message, Dr. Khadisha and Dr. Carroll too. There's a few people I wanted to say hi to that they came in and shared some of their evening with us. Dr. Ken, Heather Sears, Ebony, Marlene, thank you so much. Felicia, Victoria, thank y'all so much for joining us. And if we missed anyone, please just, comment and we'll definitely get back with y'all towards the end. Okay. So let me let Dr. Carroll know that she can chime in and we can get ready to head on out. Um, and if there's, I'm going to just tell her she can talk right now. So technology, you got to love it.
All right, I just got the word I should talk. Hopefully, you all can hear me. There's some strange technology goings on my end, so hopefully you can hear me. And I just got the word you can. So I just want to thank my colleagues, Dr. Dietrich and Dr. Khadijah, for the wisdom that they poured into all of us as we collectively create our new normal. And I'm yours truly, Dr. Carol Penn. I am a doubly board certified family medicine doc and obesity medicine specialist. I'm also your master movement meditation and mindset coach. I'm offering some special opportunities at 6:45 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm doing some get your mind right meditations. They're really offered as affirmations so that as we go into the world, whether you're leaving the house or staying at home, you can do a reset of your mental state, create a mindset and a mindset shift. So you want to join me at Dr. Carol Penn Movement is My Medicine. That's my Facebook page. Join me there, 6:45 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and I will see you there as together we get our minds right and create our new norm.
Great.
Okay, and I'm Dr. Khadisha, your board certified emergency medicine physician, sports medicine fellow, and concierge physician. My medical advice and care on the concierge and emergency basis helps people be safer, feel better, and better prepared for emergency medical situations.
Excellent, excellent. And Dr. Khadijah, suppose someone needed to learn more about what they can expect if they had to go to the ER, what should they do?
Thank you, Dr. Dietrich. Great question. For one thing, you can go to my website now at Dr. Khadisha MD, and you can get a freebie that is 8 essentials for surviving a medical emergency. And you can also get my book, Help Us Help You in the Emergency Room, is what an ER doctor would tell you if they only had the time. And you can go to www.helpushelpyoubook.com. It's helpushelpyoubook.com. Thank you, Dr. Dietrich.
Certainly, certainly. And as always, I'm Dr. Dietrich Gorman. I'm your board certified family medicine physician. I'm also known as America's Relaxation Doctor. And I do help people who are stressed at work learn to relax and refocus in order to have a more healthy, productive, and fulfilled life. I have a special announcement. I'm going to be actually launching my first coloring book this April 9th. It's for people who are stressed at work and who are at home. Just please stay tuned and I'll let you know when I'll be on. And I look forward to talking with y'all. In the meantime, you can find me on all social media at Dr. Dietrich G. That's DrDeitrickG, or on my website at drdietrichg.com. Thank everyone once again for joining us in another talk about perspectives in primary care. And we will see y'all soon. And have a great night. Okay, bye bye.